big news. And let me start by congratulating Elliot Lewis, sitting next to me, the CEO of Catalyst, on the fact that a lawsuit was recently dropped. Congratulations. Adam, we got some. There we go. Yes. Because Glass House Farms withdraws a defamation suit citing Catalyst financial viability concerns and harassments, threats to customers, Glass House Brands Incorporated, and Glass House, one other company. One of the fastest growing vertically integrated cannabis companies in the U.S. announced today that it will be voluntarily dismissing without prejudice its defamation lawsuit against Catalyst Cannabis Co., citing serious concerns about Catalyst's financial viability, which could render a judgment worthless, and harassment threats by Catalyst to Glass House's customers and its customers' customers. Glass House sued Catalyst, a.k.a. South Court Holdings and South Court Management, and its two principals, Elliot Lewis and Damian Martin, for making defamatory statements accusing Glass House of selling into the unlicensed cannabis market. Claims that Glass House has vehemently denied, and Catalyst has not provided any credible evidence supporting its defamatory statements, despite promising to do so 9 months ago. Instead, Catalyst has said that industry-wide, up to 93% of all legally cultivated cannabis ends up being diverted to the illicit market. And the licensed operators should be held responsible for downstream diversions to the illicit market. Essentially, Catalyst wants to put the entire industry on trial, something that Glass House does not want to be a part of. Glass House only conducts business with licensed operators and has no interest in subjecting its customers to similar harassment from Catalyst. While Glass House is confident it would prevail in its defamation litigation, it said it has grave concerns about the financial viability of Catalyst and its ability to pay a judgment. As is widely reported, the cannabis retail market in California is under serious distress. Catalyst recently announced layoffs and the closure of one of its stores, citing the need for some repairs. Moreover, Catalyst CEO Elliot Lewis boasted on social media about his company's practice of systematically paying less excise taxes than what the state would want, paying $2 million less in one quarter alone. Sorry, we got to make sure that the links aren't included in this. If this number is consistent throughout the year, it would mean that Catalyst would be paying $8 million a year less in excise taxes than most, if not all other cannabis retailers in the state with comparable sales. Catalyst's CEO also revealed that his company is being audited by the state of California in an embroiled in separate litigation challenging emergency regulations enacted by the CDFTA, the state agency responsible for collecting excise tax, which he says are directed at Catalyst and calls the Catalyst regs. Catalyst is also involved in several other lawsuits, including a case against the Department of Cannabis Control, the state agency charged with enforcing cannabis laws, and is in disputes with municipalities and its employees union addressing the customer harassment issue. Glass House said that proceeding with the lawsuit would necessitate revealing details about its customers. Even though they are all licensed, Catalyst made it clear that its intent was to serve similarly invasive subpoenas on Glass House customers looking for diversion downstream. Even if Glass House's customers like Glass House had no knowledge of any such diversion, Glass House said, while protecting the identity of its customers. It produced to Catalyst volumes of documents, including manifests for all of its sales over the relevant time period, and Glass House's documents prove it only sells legally to licensed brands, manufacturers, and distributors throughout California's track and trace system, better known as Metric. Since all of the Glass House's customers are licensed, Catalyst does not need to know their identities. Glass House said it believes this substantiates that Catalyst knows Glass House does not divert, and instead that Catalyst is only interested in harassing Glass House's customers. The company said while it has no knowledge of any of its customers selling to the illicit market and it has nothing to hide, it is not willing to subject its customers and the industry to such abuse. In a quote from Kyle Kazan, the co-founder and chairman and CEO of Glass House, said, "Despite the difficulty of the retail market in California, our business continues to thrive. The first quarter of 2024 was another very successful quarter for Glass House, where we exceeded Q1 guidance across all operating metrics, including cash, sales, production, and adjusted EBITDA." Given the foregoing, a spokesperson for Glass House added, "We concluded that from a financial standpoint, there was a high likelihood the judgment against Catalyst, Mr. Lewis, and Mr. Martin wouldn't be worth the paper it was written on. We felt our time and money was better spent serving our customers and growing our business so that we can continue to provide the best quality cannabis at the lowest price." Glass House said Catalyst's claims will be proven false through the defeat of the separate litigation Catalyst filed against Glass House for unfair competition. And about Glass House is one of the fastest growing vertically integrated cannabis companies in the U.S. with a dedicated focus on the California market and a building leading lasting brands to serve customers across all segments. From its greenhouse cultivation operations to its manufacturing practices, from brand building to retailing, the company's efforts are rooted in the respect for people, the environment, and the community. The co-founders Kyle Kazan, chairman and CEO, and Graham Farrar, board member and president, instilled at the outset. Though its portfolio of brands, which includes Glass House Farms Plus products as well and Mama Sue Wellness, Glass House is committed to realizing its vision of excellence, outstanding cannabis products produced substantially for the benefit of all. And that is pretty much all that we have for you on this story. But I'll tell you this, I've been in a lot of lawsuits, and I don't know anyone that drops a defamation lawsuit like that. And I find it a little interesting that they're saying that because they don't believe that they would pay on this. And I'm not just saying this because you're here, Elliot, but I'm saying this because throughout the industry, Catalyst is known for paying all of its vendors. And so, therefore, for them to say that, I find that is a little bit suspect as why they would drop the defamation lawsuit unless they know it's just going to end bad for them in court. But I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I can't wait to hear what y'all have to say as well on this. And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News with the lawsuit dropped, defamation lawsuit from Catalyst and Glass House Farms. What do y'all have to say?
Yeah, I guess
Glass House still trying to throw stones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll drop my
on the way out.
I'll drop my 2
I can't wait to hear what Elliot has to say.
I'll drop my 2 cents on it.
Go for it.
Look, shout out to High at 9. Appreciate Jay Beck for having me on. I mean, the statement is just ridiculous. If you believe that Kyle has a 12-inch penis and shoots fireballs at his ass and is 7 foot tall, you believe that that statement is genuine. To say we're uncollectible is the biggest joke ever. By the way, and again, I'm gagged up on some stuff, but I assure you, they believe that we're collectible, right? And without getting too deep into it, I don't like to talk enterprise value, but sharky ass New York business bankers a year and a half ago got us into the fucking 9 figures. The only thing true in that statement is we do have an excise tax move that we do utilize, and in so much as we end up losing that case, we'll fucking handle our business. But it's all timing, right? So basically, what happened is they fought us tooth and nail on some discovery issues. We won those motions. They freaked out. They filed a motion for reconsideration. They still fucked us in so much as again, I'm gag ordered a little bit. They provided voluminous documents. Yeah, a big pile of shit, steaming shit that's 10,000 pages. Sure, those voluminous documents. But we went in to get the court order basically enforced, and then all of a sudden they dropped the case. So again, I mean, it's just ridiculous to think that, and look, you could have a debate on whether or not you think we should have filed the lawsuit. That's a fair debate to have, right? But the idea that we're down at the 1 yard line about to punch one in and the judge is about to smack him up the face for not fucking following a court order, and then all of a sudden they dismiss because we're not collectible, shut the hell up. And last thing I'll add is they couldn't wait to get a judgment that's not collectible, from Element 7. In fact, they paraded around for optics. But, again, they had
And didn't Element 7, they were unable to pay that.
Yeah, no, and they paraded around and they do it for optics. And let me tell you, Kyle is Mr. Optics. The whole reason he even filed the defamation claim was for optics. And what they thought was we would anti-slap it, which without getting too down the legal rabbit hole would have taken 18 months. It's public speech of a public figure. But we did not anti-slap it. We stuck our balls on the table and we wanted to engage in the discovery process and speed up the process 18 months. We probably could have got out of it on an anti-slap. Not only that, when I was talking shit, I sit around the office. I hope they get us for defamation. That will open up the discovery door. And they figured out real quickly that eventually you have to fucking pay the piper. You can't obfuscate. You can't duck. The court, the superior court, will order you to hand over the discovery. And again, look, there's been some debate out there whether or not we should do it. Here's my opinion. Any business that's claiming to be a legal cannabis business and is publicly traded is probably injecting about $70 million from the black market, not directly. By the way, read their fucking statement, parcel the words. They never say the vast majority of our product doesn't end up on the black market. Elliot's claims are not true because they would end up in the defamation thing. So, how does this end? I always think the legal market is the way forward. I don't think black market forever is like a real thing, whether it's 10 years or 20 years. And what they're setting up to me is just unacceptable, bringing on, another 300,000 pounds of canopy, which was one of the main motivations for us, filing it. But again, debate the merits of the case, whether or not we should have done it, whether or not that's Snitchville or not. I'm comfortable with our position in that. But there is no debate that their statement is total fucking bullshit. The end. Stick a fork in them. Now we go on offense. We have our offensive case. It is nice to get that off our head. And, we'll see where it goes. Probably about another 6 months from getting in the backfield. They're saying they're trying to get out on a technicality on the pleadings, saying it's hard to prove direct damages. But again, they're never attacking the substance of our claim. So that's my kind of 2 cents on it.
Interesting. What do you got to say, Rico?
I just gotta say, like, Glass House seems like they are they're just really toeing the line with this statement. Like Elliot said, it was very, very one-sided. It's obvious that this is a thinly veiled press release by them on this one. And I thought it was very interesting. Yeah, you dropped the defamation suit. Yet you're trying to say that you're still talking all that shit about Catalyst in this statement, right? So I don't know. It just sounds like they're talking out both sides of the mouth. I would love to get a equally balanced rant from Elliot Lewis.
Well, I did drop on, and look, there's certain things I want to respect the court's orders, and we did some things that were gag ordered. Oh God, only if I had a camera for that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they know we're collectible. That's all I'll say. Like this whole idea that look, this fucking guy paid like $6.7 million for a fucking Lenmore in a Morro Bay. Like, shut the fuck up, dog. You don't think some of our bangers 27 deep are collectible? Like, it's a ridiculous thing to say. And honestly, even if he thought we weren't collectible, for his shareholders, he would have got it just so he could say he could have won. That's probably what would have happened. So look, Kyle is not they didn't give a fuck about the collection per se. It was all fear and optics. And once he realized, oh shit, this motherfucker's about to slam one in on us, and we got to hand it over. And just look at the court filings. We just filed for the court to fucking uphold the discovery order, which they fought, refought, reconsidered, lost. Oh, now just coincidentally, that's the time you're gonna dismiss it. Like, stop, bro. Just fucking stop. You're fucking full of shit. That's it.
What it sounds like, it sounds like is like the high school bully that knows this little motherfucker is on the wrestling team and he can probably whip your ass. And he's like, oh, I'm not gonna fight him. I'm too nice of a person. That's what it just kind of sound like. I don't want to fuck him up too bad, so I'm just gonna go home now and fuck them.
People drop lawsuits when they realize they can't win.
That's right. That's right. I mean, think about
they
it.
say to the public, it doesn't matter because if they thought they could win, they'd still be in this lawsuit.
Exactly, and especially here in California, you have people that file lawsuits for the craziest things that absolutely have no possibility of winning, but still pay for the litigation and just to go through it time and time and time again. So if you're dropping a lawsuit, there's a reason. It's not just because whatever.
Very public lawsuit at that, right?
And I'm going to say this. We know that they're not dropping the lawsuit because Glass House doesn't have the financial means to pay their litigation bills.
Oh no, they're running a 4-on-1 with fucking Venable against my fucking one-off guy, who by the way is the motherfucking go to litigation. Shout out to Jeff Agostini. Took 4 dudes from Venable, one-on-one. Obviously the offensive case continues. But in my entire life of litigating, and I've been in a little bit, even when you dismiss a lawsuit, you try to get a release from all the parties and you sign some form of fucking settlement. Like the only time I found out about it, apparently they had given a statement to Green Market, and Green Market's like, hey, I got to hold this. He was hitting me up, and then next thing I know, by the time I got on the phone, because I was busy, he was asking me for quotes on a lawsuit that I didn't even know was dropped yet. Then they, had sent it over to my lawyer. And by the way, I just quote off the cuff. It don't take. They probably took like fucking 3 days to write that carefully crafted statement. I'll just fucking say whatever off the cuff to whoever calls because it just happens to be true, and I don't need to fucking run it through the fucking lawyer and the media and the PR and whatever other lens they run it through so that it fucking works. But like that statement is really laughable. Again, whatever your opinion is on the Glass House case, you could have that opinion. But anybody who reads that statement and doesn't think it's the biggest laughable pile of steamy shit is tripping. And the last thing I'll say is they're just huge fucking pussies.
Damn, son. This is a heavyweight fight that everybody's been watching in the industry, not just in California. Elliot, when can we expect the next round to be ringing into place?
Yeah. So the other thing is they would have tried to get us to surrender our offensive case if they didn't think they were totally fucked, right? They didn't even get that. So they're filing for a judgment on the pleadings, which is a technical filing that basically is saying like, hey, you can't likely prove exactly what you were damaged, and we saw that move coming too. We've actually been really good. Credit to Jeff on that one. The collective that they would make that claim. So we're suing for no money, right? We're just suing for them to stop. And then there's the same discovery battle over the same items. The defamation case just happened to be ahead. So we've been assigned a discovery referee, and I assume, whatever you want to call it, 4 to 6 months of trench warfare. You never know in these things. We could lose the judgment on the pleadings, but in so much as we're basically going to try to get them back into the same scorpion deathlock that we had them in before. That's probably, 6 months away. I'm assuming they're going to do their not give it up, fucking reconsideration, maybe file a writ, hand us over some more bullshit. We'll have to go back into court. That all takes time, especially in LA. But, ballpark, assuming that, we don't get knocked off on the pleading stuff and the discovery referee isn't full crazy, within 6 months in the new case, we should have this ball down from the 40-yard line inside the 5, and we'll see what they do then. That will be fascinating because this time they don't get to drop it.
Fair enough.
We'll be watching.
Yes, we will be watching. We'll be covering it all here at High at Night News. Most definitely. We'll be closely following along without a doubt. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yes, thank you very much for having us today. Rico, you ready to go?